Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Fariza and I'm going to start the presentation by introduction of payroll and personnel cycle. The payroll cycle involves the employment and payment of all employees. Payroll is also an area in which company resources can be wasted because of inefficiency or stolen through fraud. As with the sales and collection and acquisition and payment cycles, the audit of the payroll and personnel cycle includes obtaining an understanding of internal control, assessing control risks, tests of controls, and substantive tests of transaction, analytical procedures, and tests of details of balance.
Next, I would like to explain about the differences between payroll cycle and other cycle. First point, there is only one class of transactions for payroll. Second point, transactions are generally far more significant than related balance sheet account. And the last point, internal control over payroll are effective for almost all companies, even small ones.
So the next thing we should understand about the payroll cycle is its objective. It consists of four objectives, which is to verify the rate of pay on each employee's pay distribution, verify time cut reporting system and the paycheck, to establish ongoing compliance for and record keeping, and lastly, to confirm that all cancelled checks are accurate and match with what issued.
Next, we move to objective of payroll audit. To verify current employment status of employee may have changed due to disabilities or some form of employment level. Next, objective of payroll and personnel cycle. To evaluate whether the account affected by the cycle are fairly presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principle (GAAP).
Next, I would like to explain about the class of transaction. Payroll cycle have only one class of transactions. This is because receipt from employees and payment for the service usually occur within a short time of period. It is far more significant than related balance sheet account, and it is also effective for most companies. Next in the topic is the relevant account related to management assertions. It has four, which is payroll cash, payroll expenses, payroll withholding, and payroll accrual. Let me explain about payroll cash in detail. It's a separate bank account for a business that is strictly used for payroll. The money going into payroll account will only be used for payroll. While for payroll expense, the amount of salaries and wages paid to employees in exchange for services rendered by them to a business. The cost of all related payroll taxes, such as the employer's matching payment for Medicare and Social Security. Next is payroll withholding. Withholding the prepayment of income tax, the amount of wages taken from your paycheck for state and federal income taxes as withholding. For payroll accrual, it refers to accrued salaries, wages, commissions, bonuses, benefits earned and payable to employees. The liability arising from worker salary expense which has been incurred but not yet paid is called accrued payroll. These two slides is the whole summary of relevant account related to payroll and personnel cycle. Take a look on what I have presented in previous slides.
Next, we move to management assertion, that is occurrence. For transaction-related audit objective is recorded payroll payment are for work actually performed by existing employees. For key internal controls, first, time recorded are approved by supervisor. Second, time clock is used to record time. And last, there is separation of duties among human resource, timekeeping, and payroll disbursement. For common test of controls, first, examine time records for indication of approval. Second, examine time records. Third, review human resource policies. Fourth, examine human resource files. And last, review organization chart, discuss with employees, and observe duties being performed. For common substantive tests of transaction, first, review the payroll journal, general ledger, and payroll earning records for large or unusual amount. Then, compare cancel check or direct deposit information with human resource records. And last, compare cancel check with payroll journal for name, amount, and date.
The next management assertion is completeness. The transaction-related audit objective is existing payroll transactions are recorded. For key internal controls, firstly, payroll checks are pre-numbered and accounted for. Second one is bank accounts are independently reconciled. For its common test of controls, account for a sequence of payroll checks and discuss with employees and observe reconciliation. For common substantive test of transaction, firstly reconcile the disbursement in the payroll journal with the disbursement on the payroll bank statement. And second one is prove the bank reconciliation.
Next, management assertion, that is accuracy. For transaction-related audit objective is recorded payroll transactions are for the amount of time actually worked and are at the proper pay rates, withholding are correctly calculated. For key internal control, first, calculation and amount are internally verified. Second, batch totals are compared with computer summary reports. Third, wage rate, salary or commission rate is properly authorized. Then, withholding including amount for insurance and payroll saving are properly authorized. For common test of control, first, examine indication of internal verification. Second, examine file of batch total for initial of data control clerk. Compare totals to summary reports. Third, examine payroll records for indication of authorization. Last, examine authorization in human resource files. For common substantive test of transaction, first, we compute our work from time records. Compare pay rate with union contracts, approval by board of directors or other source. Then, recompute gross pay. Last, check withholding by referring to tax tables and authorization forms in human resource files.
Other management assertions is posting and summarization. For the transactions related audit objective is payroll transactions are correctly included in the payroll master file and are correctly summarized. For key internal controls, firstly, payroll master files contents are internally verified. And the second one is payroll master files totals are compared with general ledger totals. Common test of controls for posting and summarization. Examine indication of internal verification and examine initial summary total report indicating that comparison has been made. The common substantive tests of transactions test clerical accuracy by footing the payroll journal and tracing postings to the general ledger and the payroll master file.
Then management assertion, that is classification. For transaction-related audit objective is payroll transaction are correctly classified. For key internal controls, first, an adequate chart of account is used. Then, account classification are internally verified. For common test of control, first, review chart of accounts and then examine indication of internal verification. For common test of transaction, we compare classification with chart of account or procedures manual. Then, review time record for employee department and job ticket for job assignment and trace through to labor distribution.
The last management assertion is timing. Transaction-related audit objective for timing is payroll transactions are recorded on the correct dates. For its key internal controls, procedures require recording transaction as soon as possible after the payroll is paid and dates are internally verified. For common test of controls, examine the procedures manual and observe when recording takes place and examine indication of internal verification. For common substantive test of transactions for timing, compare date of recorded payment in the payroll journal with date on cancelled check or direct deposit and time record. And compare date on check with date the check cleared the bank.
Now I'm going to explain to you about the business functions and their related documents and records. For the first one, which is human resources and employment, the related documents and records is human resource records, deduction authorization form, and lastly, rate authorization form. For the second one, which is timekeeping and payroll preparation, the related documents and records is time record, short time ticket, payroll transaction file, payroll journal or listing, and payroll master file. The next is payment of payroll. The related documents for payment of payroll is payroll direct deposit or check and payroll bank account reconciliation. For preparation of payroll tax returns and payment of tax, related documents and records needed is EA form and payroll tax returns. Next is possible misstatement. Possible misstatement that could have in payroll and personnel cycle is number 1, misstatement of accrued payroll taxes and payroll tax expense. Second is misstatement of commission expense and commission liability. Third is misstatement of payroll tax expense and payroll tax liability. Fourth is misstatement of direct labor and inventory. And lastly is misstatement of payroll expense accounts. Therefore, that is all for us. Thank you and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Bye!